Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. Just a quick video today. I'm working and I'm constantly doing stuff, so sitting in front of the computer isn't really something I want to do right now, but I do at night catch the news a little bit. Over my shoulder, you can see I just picked up a trailer full of like 300 count of 2x4s by 8 feet long. I'm getting ready to frame the inside of the metal building and put in a little bit more insulation. This is going to be quite the project. I'm going to be putting this stuff, everything I'm doing here, I'm going to put it over on Better Bachelor B-Sides for now. I was going to put it on my Unknown Adventure channel. I don't even know if that's still up. So I'll probably put this stuff over on Better Bachelor B-Sides. If you want to see my water tank collection and solar panels and them building the building and clearing the land and all that stuff, I'll put it over on B-Sides for you. What I wanted to talk about today is something that I think is really interesting, in that basically, if you're going to, what's a good way I can put this? Just a couple of years ago, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, I thought anybody that spoke ill of, the government and that they were doing all these weird things, these controls, the Alex Jones types, I thought they were off their rockers. But over the course of the last 3 or 4 years, between pushing of the medicines, the jibby jab, by all the LDHD TV stuff in the schools, and that it's for kids, and pushing all this stuff, it seems to me that it's almost like a compliance test at this point in time. Because if you look at the newest data that's coming out about the jabs, it's there's a lot of science now showing, and this isn't about that, but there's a lot of science showing now that you're actually more susceptible to getting sick if you took it than if you didn't take it at all. And there's arguments on both sides of it, like normal, but there are some studies coming out saying, hey, it appears that it did more harm than good. Locking down society and small businesses and only keeping the Walmarts and the other big corporations open, that did more damage than good. And now you've got a lot of people, including myself, are saying, hey, if you're a consenting adult, you do whatever the heck you want to do with your life. I don't really care. Just keep it out of my living room and keep it out of my life. But now they've started pushing this for the young people. And as a matter of fact, after I record this, I'll go in and dump it on my computer. I'm going to cut in a video here of a school teacher trying to force the kids to watch this stuff, and the kids just pushing back on the craziness.
Wow, Miss Clark. Wow. Why are you showing this to kids?
Hey, I'll warn you guys now, if you're going to be inappropriate, I will have supervision down and give all of you a Saturday school for next year. So knock it off.
Okay.
All right, so as you can see, the kids are not having it. The teacher's forcing it on them. And that is a little bit of a white pill, I think, that, the young generation are... When I was, and I mentioned this in another video, or when I was talking the other day, you had the grunge kids of the 90s and the metal kids and jean jackets of the 80s, and somebody correctly pointed out the emo kids of the 2000s, and I don't know, maybe it's hip-hop now or something like that in the 2010s. But this new 2020 push, kids push back against this stuff. And it seems that the new out-group, or the new, the weird kids, as we used to call them, the new weird ones are the ones that are all in on this ideology, and the teachers and the adults in the education system are pushing it, and the kids are pushing back against this stuff. And now you've got 3 big gamers, and I don't follow these people, but again, it's all through the news. Dr. Disrespect, Tim the Tapman Taylor, whatever his name is, and some other guy. They're all just saying, hey, you know what, you do you, man, but leave the young ones alone. Like, let's not be pushing this. Let's let it be up to the adults and the parents to teach them this stuff. And they're getting removed by Activision. Their skins, their decorative skins in the games are getting removed. And I think this is a white pill, like really good news, that it's pushing back against, the stodgy corporations and the people that'll virtue signal for money or attention and everything like that. And everybody's pushing back against this. And I think it's a compliance test. I think that at this point, they want to see how many people will comply with governments or whoever's pushing this stuff, and they want to see how ridiculous they can get with it. If you look in 1984, in the book 1984, I believe Orwell said the last and final command is to ignore what your own eyes tell you. And right now, your own eyes are telling you, hey, you know what? A lot of this stuff that they pushed during the lockdowns, all that stuff, that didn't work. And that maybe the medicine that I took actually harmed me. And that the governments really don't know what they're doing. And the financial markets where everything's on fire, but they're screaming everything is fine, maybe they don't know what they're talking about anymore. And the mainstream news gets caught lie after lie after lie. They don't know what they're talking about. And so who knows what's going on? I think the truth of it is that the people know what's going on. The people, by just their observing events in the real world and observing what they're being told and how the opposite is coming true, I think the real people really know what's going on. And this comes back around to what I was talking about in the beginning with people that were speaking out and saying all this weird stuff against what was going on by, I don't know, the Hollywood weirdos, and by the rich people, and by, I had to pause there, a jet flew overhead, and by the people in government. I think people are starting to see that everything right now, they're being scammed. Everything's a scam. And at this point in time, I don't think it's necessarily left versus right. I think it's authoritarian versus anti-authoritarian. And I think it's people that are anti-establishment and that don't trust anything that's going on versus the people that'll just suck at the teat of whatever they're being fed. And I think that's really what it boils down to. The informed versus the uninformed. Those that believe what they've been told versus those that don't anymore. And I think that's very telling. And the reason why I bring this up in this kind of situation is because, let's face it, the biggest struggle that men are going to have here, if it isn't already, it's not men versus women or the loony feminists or all the craziness or the dating and the laws when it comes to dating, because it's pretty easy. As a man, you can just say, I'm not going to get married, and I'm not going to get caught up in that stuff. But when it comes for your job, and it comes for your lifestyle, and it comes for kids, and it comes for your freedoms, and it comes for the way you can spend money, and it comes for the way you can invest, and they're using, BlackRock and Vanguard are using your investments to push this Rainbow Coalition stuff where you may not all be in on it, but if you're invested in a company, they're using that money to do this stuff. I think it boils down to, are you okay with the establishment? Or are you part of the resistance? Are you part of the resistance that's pushing back against everything that's happening to us, everything they're telling us, everything they're lying to us about, everything that they're trying to push? The kids see through it. Right now, a lot of the gamers, and I think it's now 10 or 20 million followers of 3 or 4 gamers like Dr. Disrespect that are now in a Twitter war with Activision, because Activision responded to one of the gamers saying, one of their Twitch streamers saying, hey, you know what? Like, it's fine. Whatever adults do, it's fine. Just leave kids alone. And Activision's like, nope, we're going to remove your skins and your content from our game. I think people are starting to wake up and see what's going on. And so you're also going to find that a lot of people are going to tie men and being conservative and being anti-establishment. You're going to see them start bundling all that up, and they're going to label it as problematic. And these are the people that we need to look out for. And these are the people with the bad ideas. And these are the people that you need to be afraid of, and you need to not listen to, and you need to silence, and you need to... That's what's coming. That's what's coming next. So I firmly feel that with the next cycle of elections coming up here in the United States, I firmly feel that they're going to continue to not only press down upon free speech, they're going to press down against conservatives. They're going to press down on men with traditional values. They're going to press down on men that just want to be left alone. And at a certain point, as I've mentioned before, at a certain point, the culture war is going to be coming for you, or at least your lifestyle, or the way you think, or the money you make, or the opinions you have. The establishment's going to come for you. And you either need to find yourself on one or two sides now. You're either pro or you're against. The days of fence sitting, I think, are done. And I know I'm talking more about this recently, how we have to get involved in the events of the world. But this is, I don't know if they call it 4th generation or 5th generational warfare. We are in a battle right now. We're in a battle for freedom and speech and liberty and our rights and how much nonsense they can push on us, and are we gonna accept it, or are we gonna push back? And this battle is not being fought with hardware; it's being fought with ideas and voices and masculinity and being strong and stoic and not falling for all the craziness and not falling for the lies and not falling for the manipulation. That's what we're in for. So this is one of the reasons why. Also, I'll finish it with this. I'll end it with this because I get on these tirades. That's why I read stories, because otherwise I'll just ramble on forever. That's one of the reasons why I think it's very important that in the years past, I said, you know what, get off social media. There's nothing very viable there. All they do is lie, manipulate, everything else. On certain social media, I think that's still true. Like, you can get removed for wrong think over on Instagram and Facebook. But I do think it's important to put yourself out there on Twitter, because Twitter has independent journalists, citizen activist journalists, and some of you may agree, some of you may disagree with, but that's where the news is being found, and the news is making it from there into YouTube videos, and then YouTube videos are 25% of where people get their news now is from YouTube. I think if you want to go direct to source, I think now you should have a VPN, by the way. You should be using Brave browser. You should make an account that doesn't have any of your pertinent info and uses fake stuff if possible. The only thing you may need a cell phone, but I'll tell you something. I got a burner cell phone, and that cost me like $25-30 a month. Well worth it to keep myself when I want to attach things to that. I think you need to be involved. I'm very much not a type of person. I mean, I'm living out here in the middle of the woods. I'm very much not a type of person to say you need to be out there. But I think if we're going to shut this stuff down, we need to make corporations hurt with money. We need to make politicians hurt with votes. We need to make our voices heard, and we need to start pushing back and embarrassing them for their thoughts, because that's what they've tried to do for us for so long. Is they're coming after you for wrong think. I think we need to push back on that stuff. All right, I will leave it there. I've got a bunch of framing to do or start doing. I'll get this uploaded, and we'll see you in the next one. Let me know what you think down below. I'm curious to hear what you have to say. Thanks.